Welcome,
Okay.
everybody. I'm going to turn it over now to Rabbi Smason to start.
I'd like to welcome everyone. Bruchim Abayim. It's wonderful to see all of our friends. A relative of mine, my mother is here, so I have to acknowledge my mother who's visiting. My mom's down there. She's making sure that I'm going to behave myself, as she often does when we have these classes. A number of our members from our synagogue are here, and quite a few friends and guests who are here. So a special Bruch Haba, Bruchim Abayim to those of you who are guests and joining our commemoration of Yom Hazikaron, Israeli Memorial Day, and as we transition to Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. I'd like to just give you a brief overview of the program this evening, and then we'll get started with the program itself. In a moment, we're going to light our flashlights. So get your flashlights ready. We're not using candles for safety purposes, but we'll be using the, the flashlight in place of a candle as we commemorate Yom Hazikaron. We're familiar with the use of candles on yard sites and other such occasions, so that's why we're using flashlights this evening. Then we'll be pausing for a moment of silence for those who were killed in the modern wars of Israel and terrorist attacks, and we'll be showing a video. Then we'll introduce Dr. Ram Volotsky, who will be sharing with us some thoughts about Yom Hazikaron. Then we will welcome and we thank for being with us Alon Gilboa and Aviv Saragni, and together they will be sharing memories of the service that they offered to our country, to Eretz Yisrael, Medinat Yisrael, as they were soldiers in Sahel. Then a short video will be shown, and then our own Meira Ganel and Margot Tzedok will be reading a poem in English. Then Reuven Tzedok, and I thank Reuven and Margot for being with us, Reuven will be saying the Keil Male. He will be singing the memorial prayer. Then we'll be singing Hatikva, in our homes muted, while a video will play in the background. We'll then put out the flashlights, take out our Israeli flags. Got your flags ready? Got your flags ready? We'll be taking out our Israeli flags, and that will then be the start of Yom Ha'atzmaut. We'll sing Hava Nagila, and then we'll unmute everyone so everyone could say hello to each other as we transition to Yom Ha'atzmaut. So at this point, I'm lighting my flashlight, and I suggest that all of you do the same. And now we'll observe a moment of silence for those killed in the modern day wars of Israel and terrorist attacks. And with thanks to Menachem, who's going to help us with placing before us on the screen the first of several videos of the evening.
Oh, yeah.
No. Cancel 23 first.
Thank you very much, Menachem. I now would like to welcome and thank and introduce Dr. Ram Volotsky, who's going to be sharing with us some thoughts on Yom Hazikaron.
Okay, so I would like to give some background on Yom Ha'atzmaut and the Israel Independence Day and the Memorial Day. The declaration of the State of Israel took place on Friday, May 14, 1948, the 5th day of Iyar on the Hebrew calendar. It was time to allow for a few hours just before the entry of Shabbat and in anticipation of the end of the British mandate at midnight. During the 48 War of Independence, Israel lost about 1% of the entire Jewish population, approximately 6,000 civilians and combatants. For the following years, there was a search for appropriate manner to allow the grieving relatives to commemorate the loss of their loved ones and for the nation to express their appreciation for the sacrifice of the fallen. Contrary to to other nations, the IDF is primarily composed of conscripts and reservists. It is citizens' army, and being a small nation, every casualty is emotionally felt by the whole nation. By 1951 and later in 1963, it was enacted into law, and the date was set on the immediate day prior to the Independence Day celebration on the 4th of Iyar to make a connection between the sacrifice of the fallen and the independence of the Jewish state. The Israeli Memorial Day starts the evening prior to 4th of Iyar with a solemn 1-minute siren at 8 o'clock in the evening. All activities stop, including the traffic. All entertainment businesses are closed by law. Regular broadcasting is dedicated to the fallen. Their stories and their names are read throughout the day. Official ceremonies are held by the Western Wall that evening and continue the next day in prominent places such as Har Herzl Military Cemetery in Jerusalem. Other cemeteries, other ceremonies, and graveside gathering are held in military sections of the cemeteries throughout the country. Speeches and prayers are recited. At 11 a.m., a siren is sounded for 2 minutes, during which all activities stopped in silence in respect of the fallen. During the ceremonies, El Maleh Rachamim and Tehillim are recited. Yom Hazikaron, Memorial Day, helps the family to cope with their ongoing pain of loss, and for us it is an important reminder of the grief that lasts forever.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Volotsky. And I would like to introduce Alon Gilboa and Aviv Sarangi, former soldiers in the IDF, who will share with us their memories as Tzahal soldiers. Welcome and thank you, Alon and Aviv.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And
a little bit louder, please, Alon, a little bit louder.
I said thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you, and especially during these times, it's nice to get together to commemorate these days. So I'll start and then I'll let Aviv speak. But I grew up in St. Louis. My name is Alon Gilboa. I grew up here in St. Louis. I was born in Israel but grew up here. I graduated from the University of Missouri in 2013, and I majored in journalism and computer science, minored in Chinese. And when I made Aliyah after I graduated college, I had to serve in the Army. And because of my background with Chinese, I was selected to join the Foreign Relations Unit, specifically working with the military attaches from the Asia Pacific region. And, this was a very interesting experience. I got to, you do a lot of unique things, and also the time that I was there was unique from 2013 to 2014. And I just wanted to quickly share 3 short stories that kind of I remember from my time in the Army. The first one being when I was in basic training, one of the fellow soldiers in the battalion was sick and came back to the base, during the middle of the week. And on the bus, he was stabbed by a Palestinian teenager terrorist, and he actually died. And there were people in the battalion that knew him very well, that were friends with him all his life. And it was just a very, very sad and somber moment that, 3 weeks in, I faced. The second story is a few months later in March, there was a big boat that was taken over by Israeli commandos. You might have remembered this, and they pulled it to Eilat. And because I was working with these attachés, we took them down to sea to show what kind of weapons would be sent to Hamas if the Israelis, commandos didn't capture the ship. And while I was there, me and some of the other soldiers took a selfie with the weapons kind of laid out in the back. And there was a journalist, a photojournalist, that took a picture, and it showed up in the newspapers the next day. And a month later, stayed in the archives because there was a completely random story about how young people are a little bit less disciplined than in the past. And the title was "Computer Geeks Make Bad Soldiers," IDF warns. And they used my picture there doing the selfie. And then the last story is, 2014 in the summer, there was the war with Gaza, Cast Lead, and Protective Edge. And it was a very, tense time, and all the units went to emergency mode. And I volunteered to make videos that explained, the different aspects of what was going on, the Hamas tunnels, the rockets that were being sent. And I was really fortunate to have had those videos shown in different diplomatic missions all around the world and seen in a very tense time. And we actually were able to take the attachés into one of the Hamas tunnels. And that was a very, unique experience. And, it was it was a scary time because, when they only released the names of the soldiers who died, at one point at night during the news. And, having been there and at night watching the broadcast, you just hope that one of your friends, isn't mentioned there. So, those three things really stand out. And overall, I recall my time fondly in the Army, and, I really feel proud to have the honor and be able to serve in, a Jewish army in a state of our own, and something that, my ancestors for generations couldn't have even dreamed of. And I had the opportunity to be there during that time and do my part. And now I'll let my brother-in-law, Aviv, talk about his experience.
Shalom, everyone. Happy Yom Ha'atzmaut. Thanks for the opportunity to share with you some of my experience in the Israeli Navy. So like Alon said, I'm Alon's brother-in-law. I moved to the US about 4 years ago with Alon's sister. We live in New York, currently visiting St. Louis. A little bit about my experience in the Israeli Navy. I served 3 years in the Red Sea region as a deputy of a captain in a patrol boat called the Bur. It's a small patrol boat with a crew of up to 12 people. Our main mission was to protect the borders that Israel have with Egypt, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. As you know, in this area, we have peace with our neighbors, with Egypt and with Jordan. So most of the time, we were patrolling along the border, trying to make sure nobody's crossing that border. But our biggest challenge was to protect beautiful Eilat's beaches from potential terrorists who's trying to come using a jet ski, one of the other countries. It takes only 45 seconds to get there with using a jet ski. So how you can prepare to such a case? And the answer is a lot of training. The Israeli Navy invests a lot of its resources in training. And this is something I will always remember, because even when we didn't have the best equipment and the most up-to-date weapons, and we saw what the Egyptians have and what the Jordan have, still nobody is training, at least in that region, like the Israeli Navy. So next time when you visit Israel, if you go to Eilat, you should know and remember that there are well-trained soldiers who are protecting you 24/7, and they're doing a great job. I'm happy to answer questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you so much, Alon and Vivian. I know I speak for everyone here in telling you that we're so proud of you. Of course, your parents are proud of you, but we're all proud of you as well. And your stories are inspirational, and it's just wonderful having you with us. And thank you for sharing those stories. And now I'd like to turn things over to Menachem, who's going to be sharing with us a video. He's going to show us a video, a short video for about 3 minutes, titled "The Gates of Heaven," something that'll share with us some ideas about Yom Hazikaron.
אחרי שכבר ארזנו את הכל והתפזרנו, תמיד נשארת עוד מילה אחת שלא אמרנו. עניין אחד סגור שלא פתחנו, סביבתו אשר מאחור שכחנו. עד הפעם הבאה, בים של מבטים עיניים מסתכלות עליך, ומה שתעשה הזמן חולק מבין אצבעותיך. ניסית להמריא לפתוח שערי שמיים, אבל על האדמה אתה הולך בינתיים. עד הפעם הבאה, עד הפעם הבאה, עד הפעם הבאה.
In just a moment, we'll be hearing from Meira Ganel and Margot Tzedok, who will be reading a poem in English, and preceding their reading of the poem Children of Israel is a short 40-second video that we're going to show. So Margot and Meira, we look forward to hearing your poem in just a moment, and Menachem is going to cue up the video that will play a short video in advance of the reading of the poem.
אנחנו התחלנו פה, אני לא יכול לדבר עכשיו.
please go ahead.
Winter of 73 is a song written by Samuel Heffery. This song became one of the songs that symbolized the Yom Kippur War and is part of the songs that mark the Memorial Day for the victims of the Israeli wars. The song was written for soldiers who had just been recruited to the Israel Defense Force. Margot?
We are the children of winter, 1973. You dreamt us first at dawn, at the end of the battles. You were tired men that thanked their good luck. You were worried young women, and you wanted so much to love. When you conceived us with love in winter 1973, you wanted to fill up with your bodies that what the war finished. And we were born, the country was wounded and sad. You looked at us, you hugged us. You were trying to find comfort. When we were born, the elders blessed with tears in their eyes. They said, "We wish those kids will not have to go to the army." And your faces in the old picture prove that you said it from the bottom of your hearts. When you promised to do everything for us, to make an enemy into a loved one. You promised a dove, an olive tree leaf. You promised peace. You promised spring at home and blossoms. You promised to fulfill promises. You promised a dove.
We are the children of winter 1973. We grew up and now in the army. With our weapon and helmet on our heads, we know how to make love, to laugh and cry. We are men, we are women, and we too dream about babies. This is why we will not pressure you. We will demand of you, and we will not threaten you. When we were young, you said promises needed to be kept. We will give you strength if that is what you need. We will not hold back. We just wanted to whisper, we are the children of that winter in the year 1973. You promised a dove, an olive tree leaf. You promised peace. You promised spring at home and blossoms. You promised to fulfill promises. You promised a dove.
Thank you, Meira. Rabbi Smason.
And thank you, Mira, and thank you, Margot. Now, Ruven, thank you for being with us, and Ruven will recite the Keil Male, the memorial prayer.
אל מלא רחמים, שוכן במרומים, אמצא מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים, טהורים וגיבורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, לנשמות הקדושים שנלחמו בכל מערכות ישראל, במחתרת ובצבא הגנה לישראל, ושנפלו במלחמתם ומסרו נפשם על קדושת השם, העם והארץ, בעבור שאנו מתפללים עילוי נשמותיהם. לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, בגן עדן תהיה מנוחתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבותיהם, ותעמוד לכל ישראל זכותם, ויעמדו לגורלם לקץ הימים, ונאמר אמן.
Amen. As Menachem cues up our next video of Hatikva, we will all be singing Hatikva to ourselves, muted, but watching and following along with the video of Hatikva. So just a moment, we'll see the screen that's going to display Hatikva. And as we move towards the conclusion of Yom Hazikaron and we transition to Yom Ha'atzmaut, We'll sing Hatikva now in just a moment. Okay, thank you, Menachem. At this point, we can now put out our flashlights and we'll take out our Israeli flags. As we get our Israeli flags, maybe some of us has blue kippot on with our white shirts, our white dresses. A sensitive issue that some people feel, and certainly justifiably so, is that going straight into Yom Ha'atzmaut is difficult. Making that change from Yom Hazikaron to the celebration and the festivities of Yom Ha'atzmaut, but nonetheless, we have our Israeli flags, and we will now officially, at least in the Snus Hachari community, begin Yom Ha'atzmaut, and we're going to sing. We're going to sing Hava Nagila, and we'll be dancing with the start of Yom Ha'atzmaut, waving our Israeli flags. We have a video that's going to be displayed. Nachum, I believe we're, and
Because you can't have a couple without that thing.
No, I guess not.
Sorry?
Make out that That looks like the outline.
That's this other thing. That's get it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, just before we conclude our program, I want to thank all of you for being with us, especially our speakers, our presenters, those who chanted our prayers. It was so meaningful and a feeling of true connection as we went from Yom Hazikaron to Yom Ha'atzmaut. I'd like to welcome and say hello to all of our friends, all of our members. I'd like to welcome all of you who are guests as well. And we do have a very extensive schedule of online classes and get-togethers. So for any of you who may have an interest in joining us for just some good old family time, or some learning, please be in touch with me or someone from the synagogue. All of you are considered warmly invited to participate with us. And I would like to unmute everyone, as everybody could say Shalom Aleichem to each other. We could say
Just
Chag
one
Sameach
moment.
to each other. And
Just one moment. We're going to make all of this available. It'll be recorded so you can go back and see yourselves. We'll have a link to it both on our website and also on our Facebook page. So
Thank you.
now I unmute everybody.
Thank you.
Chag Sameach, everyone. Thanks for being with us.
everybody.
Thank you so much,
Marilyn and
everyone.
Largo.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Stay well and stay healthy, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Nice to see you all.
Aaron, good
Be
to
well,
see
everyone.
you.
Everyone,
Bye, Margo.
hope to see you soon in synagogue.
David and Lisa.
Wonderful to see
Bobby
everyone.
Levine, you're hysterical.
See you later.
Hey, Bob.
Mira, you were the best flag waver.
Hi, Ronnie.
You
Thank
were
you,
the
Bob.
best
Thank you,
flag waver.
Menachem.
Thank you, thank you,
I
thank
don't know
you.
how they do that. I don't know how to.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in.
Israel, hi.
Be well and safe, everyone.
Yeah, be safe.
Ronnie, hello.
Hi, Debbie and Brian.
Baltimore. Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Ronnie.
Take care, everyone.
Hi,
Thank you, Rabbi Mason.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you,
Sally.
Rabbi.
Linda, good to see you.
Hi,
Good to see
Sally.
you.
Haven't seen her in years.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Sally.
Sally. There you are.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach to you.
Chag Sameach, everybody.
Hello,
Everybody,
Myra,
thank
good
you.
to see you.
Thank you, Menachem.
Thank you.
Oh,
this
Felicia Graber. Hi, Sally. Hi, Felicia.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Felicia, how are you?
Hi, Felicia.
Hi, Felicia.
Hi.
Right there.
Hi, Ronnie. How you doing? Good job. Hi, Zarkowski's.
Oh, that's. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
From Baltimore. Felicia, hi. Earl.
Hi.
She's in Baltimore. Hi. Hello.
Hi, Rachel.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you?
I miss you guys.
Hello.
How's this going?
Felicia, how you doing?
Okay, we hanging in there. How you doing?
Okay.
How's Baltimore?
It's Baltimore's okay.
Everybody looks good.
Sally, how are you, Sally?
Arthur, it's
Sally? Hi.
Gelman.
Bye, everybody. Be well.
Stay out of
Bye.
my way.
I miss you.
Bye.
I miss you.
Hi, Rachel.
Bye.
I miss
Love
you.
Hi, Felicia. Great to see you, Felicia.
Bye.